The Assassin, by far the shittiest dagger class. The Trickster is like a golden child who does nothing wrong and is blessed with great stats and useful abilities. The Rogue kind of just exists, I guess. And the Assassin is the failure of the family that dropped out of school at like 15 years old, is like a begging meth addict that you try to avoid by all costs with an insanely shitty ability and even worse stats considering it's supposed to be the one with the most DPS of all the fucking dagger class. My fault. While I was just having a bit of fun there, the statements about the Assassin's usefulness unfortunately holds true. To my knowledge, it is regarded as the weakest and most underplayed class in the entire game, and the root of the problem is poisons. Typically, when you hear of an Assassin class in a game, you think of a stealthy, high burst damage character that utilizes an assortment of poisons in a never seen before unique. No, it just throws them. And yes, I'm as sad as you are. Out of all of the 16 classes, all but 3 have abilities that do something outside of exclusively doing damage. The 3 that do are the Wizard, the Sorcerer, and the Assassin. The Wizard has absolutely disgusting amounts of fast, spammable single target burst damage, the T6 spell bomb averaging at around 2450 damage at the cost of 80 MP. The Sorcerer is able to quickly deal good amounts of damage to multiple enemies at a time with his chain lightning. T6 Scepter being able to hit 7 targets assuming you have max whiz at a total of 1820 damage at a cost of 90 mana. And then the Assassin. Compared to the other classes, the T6 Poison may as well be a fucking vanity item. The main Serpent Poison has a radius of 5 tiles, a throw time of 0.8 seconds, and a total 900 damage, 700 of which is damage over time at the cost of 100 MP. Now if you have eyes, ears, and brain cells, you probably already noticed the insane gap in damage between the classes. The Assassin's niche is to deal a burst of damage over a large radius or just crowd control, but it's outclassed by literally every other class in the game that has the potential to do it. For example, let's look at the fungal spell. You see this? This item here invalidates the Assassin. The spell spawns a mushroom on your cursor and deals 4000 damage within 3 tiles in 4.8 seconds at the cost of 110 MP. In order to deal around the same amount of AoE damage as a wizard pressing spacebar once, you need to land a perfect Murky Toxin shot and 480 mana if my math checks out correctly, and that is genuinely unreal. And furthermore, the recently buffed Doku no Ken has higher burst damage than a T6 Poison at the cost of 0 mana. Now at this point you may be asking, Samba, surely if the ability is doo-doo butter then the stats at the very least must make up for it, right? Right? I would love to say that, but let's have a look at the DPS chart here. Assuming that the Assassin in question has a 70 M heal pet and is able to keep 100% uptime with the highest damaging poison, which mind you is extremely difficult to hit, and the Trickster is using a prison that boosts DPS stats, the Trickster still somehow out damages the Assassin while still retaining its extremely useful ability to decoy and teleport. Reason being, the Trickster, which is supposed to be the movement class, has 5 more attack than the Assassin. In order for the Assassin to have the same DPS output as the Trickster, you need a 78 M heal pet, and keep in mind you still have to be hitting every single poison, and unless you are Clay fucking Thompson, we both know that isn't happening. And now you may be asking the Sam, I mean surely the UTs have to be transcendental, groundbreaking, earth-shattering even. No, they are shit as well. In total, the Assassin has 8 UT and ST poisons, 9 if you want to count the April Fool's one. And shockingly, only 1 is viable. Yes, 1. The Assassin is the gift that just keeps on giving. And to nobody's surprise, the only viable UT poison for this class is an event wipe. Actually, it's pretty funny. This is the Crystallized Fang Venom, or as the community like to call it, Pogma. It has this nickname because it has the same effect as the Shield of Ogma, armor breaking. Now both on paper and in practice, a throwable armor breaking projectile is insane. If you look at the DPS chart with Pogma equipped and assuming the enemy is armor broken, the Assassin manages to outdamage the Trickster by a fairly large margin, starting at 10 defense. It's insanely good, but that's the problem. The fact that an event white is basically the only viable UT poison is pretty asinine. I mean, you can try make a point for the Murky Toxin, which is just slightly more damage than T6, or even the bottled Medusozoan, which just throws a little baby turret jellyfish, and even then that's just a shit fungal spell. But neither of them come close to how good the Pogma is. Every other class has at the very least 2 good UTs that you can choose from, and even if they don't, the tiered abilities are extremely effective in what they do. In terms of a rework slash rebalancing, there is a lot that can be done. I find it pretty ironic that the assassin doesn't have a whiz mod, despite being such a mana oriented class, as well as T6 poisons giving wisdom on equip. It also opens up the idea of more mana and wisdom based builds, and uses of items that you don't generally see on assassins. Another buff idea that I see pretty commonly is just a simple damage increase across the board. It doesn't make much sense for the trickster to have more attack than the assassin. A stat rework of 65 attack from 60 or even to 70 could help solidify the assassin's status as the premier damage dealer out of the 3 dagger classes. I think that mana cost across the board should also be reduced by a decent amount, as when compared to other classes with similar niches, the damage to MP rate is pretty trash. A pretty creative idea that I've seen around on the subreddit is the concept of the assassin being able to coat their daggers in poison and have the ability to deal poison damage with your dagger for the next however many shots. A good friend of mine has recently started streaming on Twitch, and I'd say the streams are fairly entertaining.
Red, behind you, behind you,
Bro, you got no bitches. Actually, hold on, let me.
Oh.
He's literally like 5 followers away from affiliate, so if anybody headed over to the stream to check him out or follow, I would greatly appreciate that. I've said pretty much all I wanted to. If you made it this far, a like and or a subscription would be much appreciated, and make sure to enjoy the rest of your day or night. Goodbye.